Okay, so I put a lot of work into my comments tonight. They're kind of long. They're going to stay a little buttoned down, and I've got some slides to go with them. But I did that because the city park renovation project will alter the city landscape and the city budget forever. It's part of a $250 million downtown revitalization debt. And to me, it seems that if you're going to do something like this, you would want to make sure that you can tell the taxpayers that you're going to get it right. And based on what's been presented, I can't answer the question, are we getting City Park right? The important thing I'm trying to share with you are my concerns that the city has not followed the Parks and Recreation Master Plan recommendations with regard to financial feasibility and operational planning for the new facilities there. There's going to be a community center, a multi-generational community center, and aquatic center. And this should have been researched and thoroughly discussed before any decisions were made by the council, probably back in March of 2023. And what the city is doing is kind of akin to maybe building a family home without knowing how many kids you've got, what ages they are, or how many friends they will bring to the pool party in the backyard. You'll figure out the utility bills after you turn the lights on. And sometimes I think that that's the way people live, and I think we can't really apply that here. So that's why I went through all this trouble to do this. But I just wanted to remind the commission and the community that the whole point of adopting the Park and Recreation Master Plan was so that we could alter it, we could use it as a guide for all park projects and not have any more standalone pet park projects going on in the city. The city park has a cart before the horse kind of problem. The master plan recommends that financial feasibility and operational information be gathered ahead of decision making. So as a commissioner, I am concerned that we and the commission and the city council have much more oversight to work on to ensure that the city park will serve our community equitably and with access to all. So it's especially important to keep in top of mind that the park will serve the neighborhoods that the city has classified in the plan as resident gap areas, which means that the park project is closest to the residents who live in high-density residential housing, who have moderate to low incomes, and residents who currently have the lowest access to parks and face the most barriers to enjoying the programs our community service department offers. I have served on the commission for 8 years, and I have volunteered to improve our park system for over a decade. And I've always believed since I moved here that Corona needed a multi-generational community center and a pool. And I strongly believe tonight that it's my ethical responsibility to speak about the planning and design process that's been done so far. And I don't expect my comments to land well with the city leadership. I fully expect the staff and the council will object to my comments, and that's okay. The staff will likely respond by telling you that it's not required to follow all of the recommendations, or they are going to work on it while we're going through construction, or possibly they can pick and choose some of these recommendations, or they'll tell you that all the recommendations are being followed. Either way, the process with this commission still needs robust oversight and transparency. And along the way, there were a couple of red flags for me. A red flag occurred before the design process even began, when the city denied the Parks Commission's request to have a joint study session workshop with the council regarding the park. With a project of this magnitude and cost, every opportunity to improve and discuss it should have been embraced. It was not. On the contrary, the park commissioners were regulated to public comments as our recommendations were not even read into the city council record as a bare minimum from their advisory board. Red flags pop up as the staff has ignored planning recommendations from the Park and Recreation Master Plan and presented and relied on some anecdotal evidence over fact-based data. The fact-based data that could be verified objectively when trying to explain to the public the financial and operational feasibility of these new facilities. And guys, what I want you to understand is that the Park and Recreation Master Plan is the umbrella of the planning documents. The City Park Master Plan fits under it, and it's intended to work with it like a hand and glove. So the Park and Recreation Master Plan includes many recommendations, so many that I really couldn't pull them out about City Park, but it's really been adopted to guide our renovation of this park. So what I did was I pulled out a few citations just to kind of remind the commission, because it's a large document, there's a lot in it, and I just wanted to remind the commission of what we're doing. Thank you. The plan makes several references inside of itself for operations, pro forma, and business and marketing plan to be developed before the design process begins. And Appendix D tells us that to conduct a financial feasibility study and business plan prior to acquiring, extensively renovating, or building any major facility such as a recreation center, aquatics facility, or stadium. Specify program requirements, operations, cost recovery rates, revenue generating strategies, and market considerations to guide the decisions and types and scales of amenities. Oops, let me go back, moving on. And Chapter 5 tells us that before Corona develops new facilities or programs, a clear business plan is needed for each. The operational plan should, at minimum, identify the intended purpose for the facility or the program, the space needed for fee-based programs, reservations and other uses, the market it should serve, staff needed, and expectations for financial performance, including revenue-generating opportunities and cost recovery targets. This upfront work will set the facilities up for greater success. The plan also recommends expanding the formalized partnership with the YMCA. It's important to consider the long-term vision of this partnership, which can enhance community benefits in health and wellness, youth development, and aquatics programming. As an industry leader in all three categories, the YMCA is well-positioned to enhance the city's available recreation opportunities as a managing partner. The city should include the YMCA in any discussions around future building facility design that they may eventually manage early in the process to identify efficiencies and modifications. And from the very first meeting I think I've had with anybody about the community center, so this is years ago, including through this project, I have asked that the city build on the partnership with the YMCA, and the plan recommends the same thing. There was no presentation to the commission about including the YMCA, which leads me to deduce that the city manager has decided to disregard the plan recommendation. So we moved through this design process, and we found that the public time on the conceptual designs was about 8 weeks, from the first council study session to the last one in April. In April, the design was revealed and then adopted all in one meeting, a rushed meeting, and it ended public view of the final design. But let me say this, I want to back this story up about a year ago for some context. So on March 1st of 2023, the council decided on 3 major features of the park, which is the skate park, the pool, and the community buildings. The commission meeting a week later, this was presented as a receive and file agenda item, which means that there was no reason to discuss anything, since there should have been no vote taken to make further recommendations to the council. That March 2023 presentation had several different options in it for the rest of the amenities being considered in the park, like courtyard seating with a splash pad, picnic shelters, botanical gardens, multi-use sports fields, senior or teen center. The amenity selections came from a resident survey information that was very extensive. So then we fast forward a year later, from February of this year to April, the design concepts were presented, each with different small amenities. And the commissioners repeatedly asked the consultants to reference the resident survey when placing the amenities into the design. After all, a year ago we knew from March 23 plans and the survey results what the residents' preferences were for the park. So the Parks Commission noted in our design reviews that the picnic shelter, a top desire, was not in the designs. A splash pad for all ages with play equipment and adjacent seating was removed. The multi-use sports field wasn't included, and the park should have had a large destination playground, but in the final design the consultant showed the commission, the playground equipment was sprinkled all around on the model, so it was unclear. And as a group, our commission time was very limited. The Commission's comments on design were not shared with the Council, so right before the Council's April 17th decision, I emailed each of the Council members a list of the top 10 amenities that the closest neighborhood residents wanted to have in the park, to remind them. I am happy that most of the Council members read the email and brought up my suggestions. But with a quick thumbs up vote, they still didn't get to have enough time to discuss the merits. In my opinion, the Council made some very impactful missteps. The Commission and the Council viewed the park models with no preview time and then had to review, react, and provide instantaneous comments upon one short viewing time. That process was intentionally thwarting discussion. The Commission asked that the local neighborhood desired ranking checklist be used and referenced. The recommendation was not carried through for all amenity selections. The Council added and removed amenities during the final design meetings with very little discussion or consideration of the merits. The City Manager took an actual thumbs up and thumbs down vote on the dais with the Council in a rushed study session, making the final amenity decisions. The staff did not present the Commission design concerns at the April 17th study session. Since March of 2023, the Commission has been asking questions that were related to the basic operations of the pool and the community center because we had no information. What programming would be in demand? How much will it cost to operate? Using our socioeconomic data, what should the target participation rates be? How will it be accessible to all residents? Will people who can't afford it be turned away or turned off? Where's the traffic study? At the April 17th study session, the operation plan presented baseline data that is no way sufficient to inform the public about the costs to staff, operate, and maintain the facilities. It included a proposal to sell 1,000 lifestyle memberships without a business plan or market survey data. The presentation relied heavily on current statistics from the underperforming Circle City Center and made a lot of unsupported assumptions and some anecdotal reasoning about programming. That document provides recent participation numbers that they presented to serve as a baseline. The future of City Park should draw more people to it than any other park in the city, so the current baseline data isn't sufficient to make projections from. To compound the problem, the baseline participation numbers are for current underperforming facilities and programs. The staff used the data to make their best guess estimates for an operations plan, including staffing, space rentals, and selling memberships. The programming examples and projection numbers were not based on objective research. The city had no good data to support selling 1,000 lifestyle memberships. The city abandoned monthly passes for the Circle City Center years ago and has never sold memberships, so there's no data there. No market research has been done to find out how many residents City Park facilities should target given Corona's population size, socioeconomic makeup, and future growth. The Park and Recreation Master Plan analytics aren't enough. The staff should not be repackaging this data and calling it a basic operation plan, in my opinion. Again, the project is not following the master plan. In my naivete, I thought over the past year that the city staff was working on feasibility planning and that this information was being used to help design the park, and that we would see this in February when it came forward with design. The Park and Recreation Master Plan recommends that that be done ahead of time, and it just became evident that those recommendations were not taken up. You will see that many of the questions and concerns I'm sharing could be answered if the recommendations are followed. And I bring these up because I think that the community will be bringing these concerns to the staff and to the council and to the commission. So I thought it would be helpful to just put some of them here. These are the things that we have talked about. We have talked about the project attendant rates are largely unknown. The daily, evening, weekend rates, special events, large facilities, rentals, and seasonal charges like pool season are unknown. What are the target participation rates specific to Corona's population size and socioeconomic demographics? What are its greatest needs? What are its greatest needs for the seniors that will be there, for the kids that will be there? How does that inform design? Each reservation is lost community usage time. Will cost recovery goals be balanced with community programming, and how? There's no new fee study and no new fee structure. Will it be accessible to all? How? The city is proposing membership sales and space rental, competing in a way with local businesses without having a business and operation plan or market study to support that feasibility. The city proposed aquatic and community center staffing estimates without considering the Y partnership opportunities and how that would affect the programming. The Commission recommended a splash playground for all ages with adjacent seating be returned to the design as a city park, as cited by the City Park Master Plan, for this park serving the quadrant and the underserved areas. It was removed by the council at design review. A shallow water stream type feature not appropriate for all ages was substituted. In the beginning of 2023, the Commission recommended a traffic study be part of the scope of work. Impacts to the local neighborhood, traffic circulation, and residential overflow parking problems are still unknown. The Commission warned that City Park has been designed in a way that puts the fun aquatic equipment and community center behind a paywall. The Commission also warned that the public perception may be that the park is being designed without enough consideration to the moderate to low income, high-density residential neighborhoods within a 2-mile radius. Event vendors cost money. The community center costs money. The pool will cost money. There's still work to be done. Moving into the future, Corona should follow the Parks Master Plan and build on their current successful partnership with the Y. The Park Master Plan guides Corona to plan and design City Park with considerations for the underserved residents least able to afford recreation services and have the least access to parks. Follow its suggestions when making decisions impacting the most frequent park users who live nearby in the gap areas and within a 2-mile radius. Make additional efforts to engage with the community within a 2-mile radius. The city needs targeted input when it decides to make an operation plan. Make feasibility a top priority. Obtain business and operation plans and a market study before proceeding to open. Include the YMCA in these plans. Please perform a traffic study and find out the local impacts to residential parking and on Quarry Street. How will the residents cope with the traffic circulation? Okay. You can take the slides down. And I'm just going to conclude by saying a few more things. So most of the concerns that I brought forward would already been addressed if the planning recommendations were implemented. I realize that. Upon now, the city staff and the council have not done their due diligence to explain the financial feasibility of this major undertaking. The public should have transparency on exactly what is going to happen at these new facilities and how much it's going to cost to operate them. At the April study session, where the final design was both revealed for the very first time and then improved an hour and a half later, the council was surprised by a couple of well-regarded, high-profile residents who expressed negative reactions in their allotted 3-minute speaking time. They should not have been surprised. The Commission, more than once, warned that the public perception of the design models would center around an argument of inequitable access and disregard for local neighborhood residents. These residents who spoke were also concerned about the membership proposal. The staff's guess that they can sell 1,000 monthly lifestyle memberships and maintain this 1,000 membership threshold is a cost recovery dream, not based on objective data. The staff said they are confident, and confident was their word, not mine, that they can make these sales. The biggest competitors, they admitted, are private gyms that charge $10 to $20 a month, like Choose Fitness. With no market survey, business, or marketing plan in sight, the overall operation plan was not rooted in real data. These assumptions leave the city financially exposed, competing with local businesses, without knowing if this is the right thing to do or how they will make memberships accessible to all. A few years ago, Corona's aquatics program failed its way into non-existence because the city couldn't keep the program staffed with lifeguards and swim instructors. Then later, we didn't have the money to keep the pool from falling into such disrepair that it had to be permanently closed. I was on the commission when all this happened. The city turned to the YMCA, a leader in the industry, to resuscitate the swim lessons at the small pool at Auburndale Park. This program is very successful, and we are proud of its success. However, the City Council indicated they are fine with the city manager's decision to staff and operate the new aquatic center without building on the past successful partnership with the Y. One of the cost recovery goals proposed at the April study session is to rent the community center to large groups of over 250 people, and the chamber indicated at that meeting that it would be interested. A council member then remarked that a lot of groups they know will want to rent the place too. Of course, city rentals currently and in the future for nonprofits like the chamber are placed below market rates. Even though the Circle City Center can currently be rented for large groups of 250, it's not meeting its cost recovery goal. But the big ticket item for the cost recovery at City Park that I don't think was talked about enough is actually going to be the pool. The city will likely seek to rent the pool to competitive pay-to-play swim programs like Circle City Aquatics, not the high school water polo team, as one council member suggested at the April meeting. So what the public witnessed in April was a city council relying on their own anecdotal reasoning because the city manager has not produced a market study or created a business and operations plan. Contrary to what the council is thinking, the Park and Master Plan says the city is relying too heavily on room reservations to meet recovery goals. It suggests moving away from over-reliance on reservations because space rental is a trade-off. When the city rents these facilities, that means that the facilities are not being used for the community. I am in support of building a community center and an aquatic center and further refurbishing the park. Totally in support. But personally, what I cannot ethically stand behind is the city's disregard of the Park and Recreation Master Plan's recommendations for all of the upfront planning that would ensure the project's success. Those key recommendations still can be fulfilled, but they will arrive too late to inform the design of this project. The city should have more transparency on how it will ensure that the renovated park will serve the community without pricing out its closest neighborhood residents, provide programming that is accessible to all, and bring equitable amenities to the center of the city. However, the comment period on the design of the park is closed, and the city is working to pull construction documents. I hope my final comment tonight is received as it was intended, to be very direct and very sincere, because I still have a tiny sliver of hope that the City Council might pay attention and go back and hold the city manager accountable to perform the feasibility work that is so completely needed for this project to succeed. I believe it's all our responsibility to make this project the best it can be for the community it will serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Very well articulated. Vice Chair.